The return of Christ draweth nigh.
It's 7 o'clock here.
I have a confession. I have honey in my tea.
Could it also be 10 a.m. in California?
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say, my sources say yes.
There's a reason why I'm whispering.
Yes, because you want to sound like Joe Biden.
Over here.
Well, I've been spending all my money on weed and pills, trying to write a song that'll pay the bills, but it ain't came yet, so I guess I'll have to rob a bank. I guess it could be worse, it ain't that bad, at least I ain't sitting in no Baghdad in the middle of a hot damn desert.
Sitting in a tank.
I can hear it.
Well, every time the wife talks, the baby gets mentioned. I'm so broke I can't pay attention. Lord, how it tears me up to see her cry. Oh, I've been spending all my nights on the internet, looking for a clue but ain't found one yet. Just a bunch of Mopars, guitars, and other stuff I can't buy. Well, now, Lord, if you can hear me, won't you throw a damn dog a bone? 'Cause if the devil shows up with a better deal, the souls are going down. Oh, I'm singing real pretty, singing real sad, and all the people in the crowd say he ain't half bad. Well, they call me King Turd up here on Shit Mountain. If you want it, you can have the crown.
And it's Friday morning.
Good morning, everyone. Brandon?
Morning.
Everybody wake up. Ralph, wake up.
I'm here.
You can't hear our song when we play it.
No, you still haven't hooked it up to the thing.
No, I know. I'm working on it continuously.
Yeah,
Our continuous improvement.
it was funny because this morning when I went to turn everything on, I'm like, I wonder if this week Matt investigated this to see if this will work differently.
I haven't had time.
He hasn't.
I have not. I have not. I'm sorry.
Matt actually this week worked.
Yeah, I had to work this week.
Mm-hmm.
That was painful and not fun.
Makes sense.
I did not enjoy it. I mean, I did. I feel fulfilled.
Okay.
But, I mean, it was... I had to do labor. I was laboring. I mean, come on.
Oh, you had to do physical work.
Yeah.
What's that been for you? 40 years?
Well, I mean, it's been a little while. I did physical work in February. So, I mean, I think every few months I do some physical work. But I like the beep boop beep boop beep boop work. That's better. Like you could stand there and boop 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 boop.
Ralph, you always hang pictures of yourself on your walls?
I was thinking the same.
This used to...
No, behind
yes,
you.
I do.
Is that you? Is that you behind you?
Yes, I didn't hang that up, but
It's funny though because
yes.
it's kind of sad because when you have a self-portrait, they're huge.
Yeah.
This one's kind of tiny,
Right.
And it's placed to the side.
Yeah, and there's nothing else on the wall.
There's nothing else up there.
It's obviously planted.
Is there a bust of yourself somewhere in your home?
So actually, what is she? So my wife's the one that hung up everything in this room.
That one picture.
That one picture on that one wall, there used to be a Costa Rica thing there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is her stuff.
Okay.
It's not my style.
Was that an idol I saw on the other wall?
With the cross, yeah.
Huh? Yeah, that one right there. That is strange. What's all this stuff on it?
UFO
I
stuff.
don't know. It's birds or something. It's from Costa Rica or something.
Oh, well, Ralph, we're going to probably talk a little bit about the demon influence, so you might want to keep that cross handy.
Demons.
I thought you were talking about it being an idol.
Well, that's demonic. Idols are demonic. It was believed that the spirits lived inside of those idols.
So crosses are demonic?
No, they're not, but I do think they can become symbols of idolatry.
You know, like the Eye of Horus that you wear in your hat.
Yeah, what happened to your
it's
hat?
not football season anymore, right?
Oh, well then maybe you
I
should
wear
get a
baseball
Cub.
hats now.
Maybe you should get a Cubs hat. That looks like the Eye of Horus. That big C.
No, I wear
No, that's the
You guys
all-seeing.
are crazy.
That's the all-seeing eye.
Oh,
Have you
I
always
want to
been
know
bald?
what's your gripe with San Diego? Come on,
San
Explain it to me.
Diego.
what does that look like? Let's see.
He still can't.
That's a swastika, I think, isn't it?
That's what it is. There it is.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm trying to make.
Listen,
something up.
I'm willing to investigate that. Is that a swastika? Swastika?
You want to look at it again?
Yeah, let's look at it again. See if it is
The
swastika.
swastika.
Oh, that's a little different view of it, but no. Well, no, probably not. It's going the wrong way if it is. Although inside there might be a smaller swastika on the inside.
How do we know that?
There is on the inside. Yeah, there it is. I don't know if it's the same for you because it might be mirrored on the camera, but
No, it's not.
Yeah,
How do we
it's-
know that doesn't mean San Dimas?
It's definitely on the inside. There's a swastika there. I think they're going to have to get rid of their logo.
they probably will, just like the Cleveland Guardians. That's
Yes.
a cool name, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
So the bubble-headed nitwit who owns the Indians and changed the name is running that he is the real conservative who is staunch and is going to stand up to the whoever. And it's like, dude, you bent over and changed the name to the Guardians, and you're supposed to represent the staunch conservative stand up to the manpower? Okay.
Well, you knew it was coming. They took the Akron Arrows and they changed their name here a few years ago to the Akron Rubber Ducks. So you knew it was coming.
What was wrong with arrows? Oh, was arrows like a Native American arrow?
Must have been, yeah.
So now the tools can't even be talked about.
No,
Got it.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's,
This table is dumb.
Ralph, can you hear me on this?
This little table.
Yeah.
Okay.
all right. So what you need to do is just pull it up and like really.
I have been.
Yeah, just strut into it. Ralph, can you hear me?
Ralph.
You got to talk into it like Barry Manilow, though.
Oh yeah. Coming at you live.
I hope all two viewers realize that we have nothing going on.
We have nothing.
We have nothing.
Well, isn't that
I'm on board with that.
It's a good plan. I mean, let's
except
think
if we're
about it.
planning it, then I guess we're still
It's true.
planning to do nothing is still planning.
That is true. Well,
So
let's just talk in low voices.
let's everybody talking low radio voices.
All right.
Yeah,
So
cats and kittens say stuff like that.
yeah, cats and kittens. So Joe Rogan's been doing well on his podcast, a little bit better than we
Oh
are.
yeah. What's he talking about?
A little bit better than we are.
Well, I just recently saw him. He did an interview with a guy, Knees Over Toes. That's his website. I think it's something like Knees Over Toes. But he teaches the importance of learning how to do squats to strengthen your knees. So, Ralph, the reason I'm bringing this up is you might want to watch that interview because he starts you off with like using like a band progressively, and what you do is your heels are up and you're doing squats, but your knees are tracking over your toes, but you're doing it with like no weight, and you're just doing small reps until you start to strengthen what's called the vastus medialis, I think, and it's that teardrop muscle that comes over your kneecap. And he says, he says that if people do this whole thing, that you can bulletproof your knees from pain and injury. So you might want to look at it. Rogan had him on.
I
here not
definitely
too
check
long
it out. I do watch him sometimes or listen to him or whatever.
ago. Yeah. So I thought that might be helpful to you. I like to help my brother in need, especially with the teardrops on his knees.
In need.
I like to watch you suffer.
I want to help my brother in need.
Need, but that's good.
Need.
That's good. Uh-huh. Well, if we do have two viewers, they're not going to be there long, so we better get to business here. Is one of the viewers Maverick Wheels, or can't you tell?
Probably. Well, I don't know.
Maverick Wheels, can you just get back on a 1020 on us?
Yeah, what's your
10-4?
20 Maverick Wheels?
I
We
want
have
to.
no viewers. Oh, there it is.
No, there's two. We've had 4 views. 2 are currently in.
Yeah.
If you could identify yourself so we can call you out publicly, we'd appreciate it.
Yes. We want to know who is dumb enough to watch us.
Who is-
Still on carnivore, Ralph?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does carbs on the weekends, right, Ralph?
I do.
You look
I
sad
cheat,
about
1 or
that.
2 days on the weekend, but I'm pretty strict Monday through Friday.
Pretty,
deal.
like pretty strict, meaning like what?
Like I don't even do like much seasoning or anything. Like I'll do salt and
Oh.
pepper.
Wow, that is strict. Because Brandon puts A1 on his, and that's got high fructose corn syrup.
I am doing the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, but I bread with it.
Then it's not the carnivore diet.
Yeah, no, I eat,
Oh, it
I
is.
eat meat every day.
Yeah, it is carnivore.
It's called the omnivore diet.
And then I
It's
have
called the omnivore diet.
I usually have a vegetable, like a broccoli,
Or
and
corn.
I like to cover it with butter.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, pretty
You're
much,
on the seafood diet.
pretty much like a carnivore. And then I'll get like an order of fried mushrooms.
That's good.
Yeah, carnivore diet.
Nice. I like the bread part when you said that. It was good.
But I eat bread.
I ate sausage with pasta.
That's Brian. I thought you were going to start it.
I tried, and then my wife made biscottis.
You
And
can't
it-
say no.
I still can't get over
But
this.
after that, you didn't.
Dude, she made a tray of biscottis, like a baker's tray of biscottis, and I literally ate that entire tray in 2 days.
What you missed, Ralph, and you should go back and watch our sermon on Sunday. He managed to make biscotti sound like he had a cocaine habit. Like I was like, come on.
Isn't it true, Ralph, that any gluttonous or abusive attitude is sinful, right? It doesn't matter if it's drugs, alcohol, or food, right?
I believe that. Yeah.
Everybody was making fun of me. Oh, I wish I had a biscotti problem.
Yeah, it's like, oh, all my problems. I have biscotti problem is the worst.
Trust me, I'm writing a book on it, how I got free from biscottis.
Biscotti. How I broke my biscotti addiction.
Yeah.
I was traveling downward in a downward spiral.
I'm telling you, I'm already on tour to speak at like, I don't know, like at least 10 other churches that are like under 20 people.
What are you going to name your book?
Huh?
What are you going to name your book?
Be free. Biscotti.
No.
like,
No. I think it's back from biscotti.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Maybe we'll ask the viewers, the two viewers, to give ideas of what I should name the book.
Biscotti and their
What about the
lies.
biscotti burden?
The what?
The biscotti burden.
The biscotti burden. That's
that's
not
not
bad.
bad.
That's not bad.
So there I was. It was dark. It was a Sunday night. I'm standing there in my jammies with no shirt on. I have milk dripping down my chin. I had just put the biscotti in my mouth, and it leaked. And I realized what a slob I was. How have I gotten here?
Yes.
Lord, save me from my biscotti addiction.
But then I did feel better because it was almond milk.
But then I realized how much sodium is in almond milk, and I felt ashamed once again.
That's true. That's true. Well, biscottis are a problem. That's all I'm saying.
I think you just struggle with sweets and carbs in general.
In general, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since you struggle with them, just keep eating them.
I will.
It works for me.
Yeah.
It does. It does good.
Well, total abstinence is not the answer, Brandon. That's why the marriage bed is undefiled.
You're gonna want to keep doing that until you have to inject yourself with insulin. It's a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. I thought about getting a meter, and then I'm like, no, I don't want anyone to tell me I'm a pre-diabetic.
You're not a pre-diabetic. It's just stop it. You're more
What's your
disposed.
glucose level?
You're just more disposed of having your heart stop out of nowhere.
I know that's true.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
What's that
anxiety.
bottle of hooch back there?
Hooch?
You got some old stag.
Ralph, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
can
look
you
a little
hear us?
disoriented.
I'm trying to mute my speaker so I can make some coffee without making a lot of noise. I'm just gonna hit the button and walk away.
No, we want to hear your coffee maker. Oh, that's awesome.
What does it do? Does it burn small puppies? What is
Yeah.
happening?
Just take us to
No,
another
like
room where
grinds.
there's more pictures of you.
Yeah. That's of me. Right?
And now I'm sitting in front of my degrees. I call it my degree wall.
Yes.
Look at my
My degree wall's
certificates.
at work. That's my wife's degrees.
Oh, okay.
What degrees are those?
Master's in social work, and then Bachelor of Arts in social work.
Okay. So really, those aren't helpful for a whole lot. That's what we're saying.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Well, I'll have you know, she works at the state level and manages all the money to make sure it's actually being spent correctly for homeless services in California.
Well, that's good. We will, if we hear of any scandals, we'll be calling you.
Shandles.
All right.
Hey, are you gonna go down and see John MacArthur before they ruin his church?
No, I don't really have any desire to do that. What about you, Ralph?
No.
Have you heard about
Only
this?
mega church I really care for at all is Alistair Beggs.
I don't really call that a mega church.
Yeah, because I mean, let's face it.
That's
Have
like
you
a
been
me-
there? It's a huge mega church with like 6 services.
But they just go there because of his accent.
Yeah, they all were just filling.
No. His preaching is so much better than the one I used to go to in Parkman.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But listen, I was at a evening service of his one time, and he was fired up. And this was probably like 12, 13 years ago. I mean, he was like livid, and he told the entire congregation there. He's like, "Look at this." He goes, "This is ridiculous." He goes, "There's 800 people here on a Sunday night." He goes, "There's 4,000 on a Sunday morning." He goes, "Something's wrong." And he said, "Are people just coming here because of my accent?" He said, "That's exactly what he said."
And I would raise my hand.
Really?
I am.
So I stood up and I said, "Alistair."
Yeah,
'Cause
right.
I call him Al.
It'd be like
sometimes.
a Monty Python movie where you're
Uh-huh.
like, "That's why I'm here."
Yeah.
You could do the priest from Monty Python. You know, the big speech impediment?
Hey, quit making fun of my wife. That's a standing joke because my wife has. Everybody tells her she has an accent, and so I always told her that I thought she had a speech impediment. And so now she tells everybody that, well, my husband says I have a speech impediment, not an accent. So, but she's okay with it. She's embraced it. She accepts it. So I'm not being derogatory here at all. If she
I don't
were
remember
here,
her talking funny at all.
she has. Sometimes she like certain words. It sounds like she might have some kind of an accent, but I really think it is just some kind of a speech thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I think she knows it probably is too. But she likes to go with the whole accent thing. Yes, I'm from Wisconsin.
Where are you from? Middlefield.
Yes, Middlefield. Actually, Southington. I have this accent from Southington.
Southington.
Okay, so here's another. I don't know if anybody heard about the MacArthur thing, but you can go find that out on your own. But here's something I just pulled up this morning, which is crazy. And this was actually 2 seconds ago that I pulled it up. It couldn't have been. Well, when I pulled it up, it was 2 seconds ago, so it's probably like 5 minutes ago. Mega church report paints founders as abusive and mentally unwell. And the specific claim is against a pastor by the name of Stovall Weems. Now, some of you might know that name, but that's the pastor of a church called Celebration Church. It's a 12,000 member church. All right? And this is the church where Michael Heiser
It's the Michael Heiser Church.
and they're being investigated right now for fraud and some other leadership problems. It was founded in 1998. On behalf of Celebration Church, attorneys said they interviewed more than 20 current and former senior leaders, members, staff, former trustees, other advisors, and consultants. Some reflected trauma as they shared their experiences working with the Weemses, which is the husband and wife team who are the pastors there. The Weemses refused to interview as a part of the investigation, the report says. now someone said this report is completely concocted by the trustees and their lawyers as a character assassination without real basis. The charges are, as they always were, untrue and without a hard basis in fact. So, I mean, there's an attack. We were just talking about this morning, Ralph. There's an attack. I mean, yeah, mega churches do seem to be riddled with controversy and problems.
They can't not be.
Yeah, we were talking about this. So, Ralph, what's your thought? Mega church, you got 12,000 people. Something's going to happen, right?
I mean, people are inherently evil, regardless what religion they call themselves. So, like even if every single one of them was a genuine Christian, we're still not perfect, right? So, I think it only stands likely that the more people you have, the more problems you're going to have, regardless of if it's a church or organization or a sports team or whatever.
Yeah. So smaller churches are good because they keep the pastor humble and that way he doesn't fall into sin? Or what's the problem there? Or are smaller churches just not in the light enough to get investigated and so they can do things under the radar? What do you think going on with that?
I definitely think there's some probably shady stuff going on in small churches too. I mean, if you add up all the small churches together, that's a lot of people. I'm sure there's issues.
Yeah.
But
99% of the churches are small churches.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest.
So I'm sure there's...
Go ahead, Russ.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, I'm sure there's issues in small churches too. But yeah, they're not going to be talked about unless somebody brings it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we brought this up probably a couple years ago when we talked about this. If the small churches went non-existent, there would hardly be
any churches.
Yeah, be any churches because the mega churches make up a very small percentage of church population in America. So most of it has to do with money and sex. When you have these problems, so this is fraud. The other one was sexual stuff with MacArthur going on, some stuff in the past. Not him personally, but stuff that was supposedly going on that he
around him.
Yeah, around him, and he swept it on the rug or didn't approach it correctly. And then,
says the article.
Says the article, right? And it's all alleged stuff right now. So
I'm a John MacArthur fan, so he's my boy.
And then you got Ravi Zacharias and the whole thing. And Ralph, I just found this out this week. I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but I was just telling Matt and Brandon that some of the stuff that's been done since Ravi Zacharias has died, it almost appears that maybe there was some inside things because the people that were in line to take his place have, like according to this one article I was reading, have kind of run off with a lot of the money, and his wife has like really kind of gotten the boot, and she didn't do anything wrong. Have you seen any reports on that, or do you follow any of that stuff, Ralph?
Nah, it's probably too close to news for me.
They probably killed him.
Well, he had cancer, but they could have injected him with cancer.
He had the casino
cells. Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so here's my ready for conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory Friday.
Okay.
We are in the Great Reset. We are going towards one world government. We are on the side of the Nazis in Ukraine. We want to turn this country.
Can you say that with your Alex Jones voice, please?
We want to turn this country into basically a third world country. And the only way to do that, people, is to get rid of the Bible. So we're going to take our big mega churches, which seriously, it's impossible, okay? It's going to be impossible not to have problems in a church of 8,000 people. And we're going to defile the Christian church in front of America so that it is destroyed. They're going to bring it down from the inside, people.
Nice.
Then promote our coffee.
What is their coffee called?
Chiapas Mountain Strong Arm Coffee. It's made by the communists in the Chiapas Mountains, but they're really not. They don't want to be. They don't want to be communists, but they're labeled communists. I mean, there's been a whole thing about it, but you'll see it in the papers.
Ralph's not finding this humorous at all this morning. Ralph, this is good stuff.
I'm laughing on the inside.
No, but seriously, they have to tear our churches down. The church can't. You can't have one world government. You can't have the church. You can't have the religion of man,
right?
And have the Christian church still existing. It has to be torn down. So they are now going through one by one by one. They're getting rid of the big names who we were, and it's not hard to do. Like, okay, so someone around John MacArthur committed XYZ bad sin. That how is that John MacArthur's fault? But somehow we are now making the clergy, like, if they don't report you to the authorities, like, responsible, just as responsible as the person doing it. And I guess I don't understand that because you're a third party viewing.
Right.
Like, you can give counsel
Right.
and you can talk about certain things, but if you don't know something's going on in someone's life specifically or how bad it is,
Right.
and you can only speak to what you see, how can you be responsible as if you were an accomplice? Mm-hmm. Which is basically what they're trying to do. They're making him an accomplice,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. Scandal even plagued the early church. There was a time where the early church was said to be cannibals because they were having what was known as, they call them the love feasts, and they were meeting together and they were partaking in communion, and people were spreading rumors that they were drinking blood and eating flesh. And so there's always going to be people trying to paint the Christian church in a bad light or, scandalous. But let's face it too. I mean, there is a lot of, like Ralph said, we're messed up people. And it's so easy for people to try and hide in the church, whether it's sexual abuse, whether it's substance abuse, whatever it is. And for some reason, we kind of hide in the shadows of the church, hoping that, maybe we'll make it one day. And we'll just keep doing the same garbage over and over again, eating our biscottis until we're, so filled with biscotti we can't take it anymore, but yet just kind of rationalizing our sin.
There could be churches that do that, just in different clothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that like are okay with stuff?
Well, no, I mean, like you said, drinking blood and whatnot.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And
yeah,
that doesn't seem too far off.
No.
Well, it's
Could be.
To me, it's the thing of, like, we're all sinners.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find sin.
Yeah.
So it's the easiest thing in the world to walk into a church and start pointing fingers.
Right.
And then they'll go, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
If they really love the Lord and they're being confessed with their hearts,
Right.
they're going to go, yep, you're right.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not hard. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've always found that it's convenient,
Right.
And the church, they don't do themselves any favors because the big organized ones are, Jimmy Swaggart and Pat Robertson taking money and sleeping
Right.
with the secretaries, and
Right.
there's a lot of bad problems there too.
Right.
On top of it,
Yeah. Living high on a hog, as my
Yes.
mom used to say.
living high on the hog.
Mm-hmm. Well.
So, I actually want to bring up something. When you were talking about, your conspiracy theory Friday, as well as I would call you talking every day. That's just a day, right? Conspiracy theory day.
Sure,
But
but
anyway,
in my
we
world,
talked
we
about-
call them Matt's beliefs. But yeah, go ahead.
yes, yeah. So
We should have
I
a
actually
segment.
think that if those powers exist and are trying to destroy the church, that the best way to do it would be to do nothing, because like this young generation right now, I think once they're our age, the churches are going to be dead if nothing goes on. Like if they just don't do anything, churches are dying out in America, I should say specifically, right? Our culture is so anti-God that they can literally do nothing on attacking the churches, and
They're going to fail anyway.
the churches would
Well-
pretty much be all dead. But if you attack the churches, where there's strife, where there's struggle, and where Christians suffer, that's where God grows. Like you look at the churches that are hot around the world and growing, it's all the ones that are being persecuted.
Don't tell anybody.
But they're
Like
not.
we actually need persecution.
Yeah, but see, like when we bust a church for because the pastor was sleeping with the secretary, that's not persecution. That's
No, but it's going to lead to it. If your theory is correct and they're trying to attack the church,
No,
It's like a
it
step
just bolsters
infection.
the world's opinion that the church is just as corrupt as my life. So why do I need to be there?
Yeah.
I totally reinforcing what you just said. I talked to a young man. He's about 23 years old this week, and we went round and round on religion. He thinks that gender is a construct. Like he's got the whole new age, new liberal philosophy on life. Capitalism is terrible. You know, Bernie Sanders is the man. He's the whole nine yards. And so when you just try and present not even the gospel, you just get it. I was trying to get his ideas on what do you think about the Bible, what do you think about Christ, and what do you think about what is left of the Christian movement and church. It is tell me exactly what. This is why I texted you. I used your response the other night, Ralph. You know, he wanted to know exactly what Jesus said about a subject, and it's like, okay, so you then have to point at the Bible, and if no one is going, if you can't acknowledge that the Bible is different than any other historic book, and if you think that Jesus was just another significant man in history, there's nothing you're going to do to change a person's mind. There's nothing in what we talked for 2.5 hours. There's nothing going to go on there that's going to fix where that person is. And that's where the young people are, is they're just literally like, I would like Jesus to sit next to me and tell me he's real, and then I'll think about it. That's the summation of what I got out of this 23-year-old I was talking to.
But also tell me how excited he is that I want to live my life the way I want to live it.
Yeah, and yet, I mean, like, full problems. But the thing is too, he's 23, so he doesn't realize yet. This is what's so screwed up about the whole thing. You figure out when you start to be in your late 30s and into your 40s, and you start to realize things.
Right.
Like at 20, in your 20s, you don't realize what's bad for you, and so I don't. There's no conviction there. Like he's not in a ditch. He just doesn't. It's not important. He's impervious. You know.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 20-year-old that's going to live forever.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trying to experience the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't see the negative impacts on his life already.
Right.
It's visible. It's visible to me, but he doesn't see it. It doesn't mean anything to him yet because it doesn't wear him down. He hasn't
Right.
been brought to think about things.
Right.
So
This is what James says in James chapter 3, verse 13, and I'll read all the way through 18. But James chapter 3, verses 13 through 18. Who among you is wise and understanding? Let him show by his good behavior and his deeds in the gentleness of wisdom. But if you have a bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your heart, do not be arrogant and so lie against the truth. This wisdom is not that which comes down from above, but is earthly, natural, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there is disorder and every evil thing. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, loving, gentle, reasonable, full of mercy and good fruits. It's impartial, free of hypocrisy, and the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. I just think it's interesting that Paul, or James here, just like Paul in Ephesians chapter 6, they always go through this vein or this line that when these kinds of things exist, strife, ambitions, bitterness, jealousies, there is a demonic element behind it. There's always a demonic element behind it. Paul is not afraid to talk about that. Now, that doesn't mean you're looking for Satan under every rock, but when attitudes like this are happening, there is a spiritual battle that's going on, and it's bigger than just people being people. It's this age-old sin issue that goes back to demonic entities and forces in spiritual places.
But it's not people being people either. Like, people being people are evil by nature, which is a result of the spiritual warfare that's always happening.
Right. No, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. You're right. So it's not people just being people, right? I also just wanted to kind of throw out or point out there too is that he says there's disorder and every evil thing. And if you think about it, there's a lot of disorder in the church. And it's because a lot of times of this jealousy and this selfish ambition and things like that. So here's another quick question. Mega church is like it's like the GM or the Home Depot of, you know, the lumber industry or whatever. So you've got your small little hardware stores that are struggling to survive in town, and then somebody else comes in and puts a Home Depot, you know, within 10 miles. And you got a few people that'll say, "Oh, I'd like to go to that home hardware store because of whatever, blah blah blah, because it's small and I like the customer service that I get there." Although when I go into Ace, I'm like, these guys have no idea they have no idea where to take me or what to do. But then you have the big Home Depots that are doing the same thing. They're selling similar stuff, but at a cheaper price, and they have, you know, more workers there. And so all of a sudden it's about competition now. I'm not successful. I'm not, you know, good enough. I can't stay in business because of that. So you've got this jealousy or this selfish ambition to try and be a megachurch. And I was just talking to somebody this week and said, like, the first 5 to 10 years when I was out of Bible college, that was my thought, that I was supposed to be a pastor who was creating a megachurch. Like, this church has to grow and be large, or else I'm not doing anything significant for the kingdom. So what are your guys' thoughts on that whole concept? Because I think the church is in disorder because we have, in this culture, we framed it so that everything's about competition. It's about turf. It's about, is my church have more people and doing better things than the church up the street?
Well, a lot of the mega churches are just preach prosperity, and then little churches like us, if you sell a lesser product for more money, you don't get as much people.
All right, that's
You
true.
know what I mean? Not saying that this lesser product, but
It definitely doesn't have the pizzazz.
right.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think what you're saying is right. I think we offer lesser product because we need you to give your life away.
Yeah.
Right.
We aren't promising you anything.
And those mega churches might be easier for someone to walk into because you don't get noticed as much. There's not maybe a lot of human interaction because no one knows each other. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and you
More
actually
easy to
are,
blend
you,
in.
You are buying a product when you go to a mega church. You're buying the parking lot, the coffee, the children's
Yeah.
groups.
The book at the bookstore.
Yes. Come to our coffee shop, get a T-shirt.
Yeah, and that's all marketing,
It is.
which is it's smart,
Yeah. If you want to build a business,
right?
it is smart.
That's what a lot of the mega churches are, a business.
Yeah.
Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, even the small churches are a business. Like, you have operating costs, you have to stay open.
Correct.
To a point, you know. But I'll say, to Brian's question, it comes down to motivation. I always say, like, everything's based on motivation. Like, if your heart is saying, I want a big mega church because I want to be somebody, I want to, you know, whatever, then obviously that's sinful, right? Like, it's all about you. But if you're saying, straight out of Bible college, you know, God, use me to grow your people, to make more souls come into heaven, and that's your motivation, then I would say it's a good thing. Because, like, I don't know, you guys heard the term cell church, right?
Like sell in like small groups of people, like as a church.
Yeah, so, like, it was really big in the 90s and early 2000s, and Pastor Cruzy actually tried to implement it at our church at Cornerstone for a while before he left. And I think that's a great model because it's not about becoming a mega church, but it's all about getting people to come. So you do, like, a lot of Bible studies, and you try to bring friends to the Bible studies rather than try to get them to come to church. So it's like friends from work or people, like, that know you, and it's a really small setting. So people feel, like, invited, like it's not a official capacity. And then they always study whatever the pastor talked about the week prior, or they'll talk about it, like, whatever is coming up ahead. And then as the church grows, then the church splits off and becomes two churches, and it's like a pyramid scheme. and those churches become 4 churches, right? So it's about growing people, but not necessarily a single church. You know,
But
the
we
whole
still
goal is to.
Just like a mother company, different branches of a company, and they branch out.
Except they're not connected anymore, other than that they're both believers. It's not like a money thing. It's just a way to try to like grow churches in America.
So the problem that happens there is
The Gulf Streams.
there's the what?
The Gulf Streams.
Yeah.
Those are the jets.
Well, you don't. Yeah.
They're not connected money wise
Why not? We need money.
because once the church is split, it's 2 separate churches.
Yeah, but how are you going to get a Gulfstream? I think that's what you're missing.
We need to figure out a way to get those churches to
Yeah,
funnel money
they
back
should
into the
keep
main.
paying the money back to the main thing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could become part of a denomination like the Nazarenes. Just make up your own.
So listen, what I like about your groundbreaking concept of small groups.
That's not mine, but go ahead.
Well, I don't. Either way. So, what I like about it, or don't like about it, and I've seen, I should say, I don't like about it, and I've experienced. I have people who are like, they're like, yeah, our church, we did a small group thing where we broke it down, just like exactly what you're talking about. But then they're like, it's funny because, like, the pastor's group, the people who get to meet with the pastor are the people who are always around the pastor. And then we got stuck with the mutants at table 9. And so, and like, the jocks are at table 6 and the band nerds are at table 4. And so then they're kind of like, I'm not into it, dog. This is dumb.
Yeah. Because most people want
It
to come
sounds
to
like
my
to
group.
me, it got big enough where it needed to split, and it didn't split.
Oh. So you're saying I should split my group?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can't be in 2 places at one time, Ralph. Because
So you need to find another pastor.
it has to be a
So
pastor.
actually, when I was in Washington, I went to a church that was doing the cell church thing too. They didn't call it that, but they did like the small groups. And I was actually leaving when they were splitting, and they were starting a new campus with a new pastor in a different area because some of the small groups had brought in people. People were driving like 40 minutes to get to church, which I guess isn't that bad, but there was enough people where they had to have like add an extra service. So they were supporting them with money until they were getting a church built, but they were going to be separate entities after that. So it can work. I've seen it but and I'm not even saying that should be our goal. I'm just saying, like, if that's your motivation is to further God's kingdom by helping more souls come to know him, there's nothing wrong with it. That was to answer the original question.
Well,
Yeah, but what if you want to have 40,000 people under one roof?
yeah.
Again, it's the motivation. Everything comes down to motivation.
Well, again, that's my question. Like, you get all these cell groups, but they all at least come together on Sunday to worship in a big thing, so it looks really cool, right? With a live concert band and all that stuff.
I mean, statistically speaking, we need 40,000 people so we can have really good musicians for a good worship band.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to hire outside worship people.
Right.
Well, I mean, we can, but
Yeah. Well, once the money's coming in, we can hire if we need to.
right.
You need to.
Because
I've
it needs
heard
to be
your sermons.
it needs to be flawless.
Yes. Yeah. And they need to be pretty.
They have to be pretty and young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt, you're gonna be in the background probably.
Oh, I'll run the soundboard. What's the soundboard?
You could we'll have you playing the triangle.
Yeah. Mhm. And I think probably what'll happen is I will probably write the material, but I will not be able to be up front either.
No.
We're gonna need a guy with glasses.
We
and-
probably won't even have
You're
you
gonna
write it.
need. You're gonna have to wear those the shoes with the rubber bands that they have over them now.
Oh.
They look like hospital shoes, but they swear they're not.
Okay.
I think
Crocs?
they're an Adidas with like rubber bands. They're like the new Velcro.
Okay.
So everybody's into those.
Okay.
And then skinny jeans.
Skinny jeans.
And then I don't know if are we still doing lumbersexual or
I
is
don't
that
know.
changing
Give you a
up?
nice Armani jacket.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice jacket.
So we're going with a nice suit jacket.
Yeah.
Armani.
But a white T-shirt underneath.
Right.
Yeah.
With,
Gucci.
with the tennis shoes, that would look good.
Yeah, it would. It would. Yeah.
And then maybe just a little.
You're right,
bit-
Brian. We're gonna need somebody else.
Yeah, it's not going to work for me. Because then you get to this upper half of me, and I got problems with the hair thing going on. My hair needs to be thicker.
Yeah.
So unless I get Rogaine stuff going down, it's not going to happen.
We'll give you a
too
couple
late.
Botox injections.
Well, I mean, we're talking about stuff, and we're throwing a little bit of humor in here and stuff. But the church is really, it's been in turmoil since the beginning, since its inception. I mean, it's always had scandals and things happening and struggles. But today, I think the whole concept of, like, Ralph, what you're talking about, like, we're even graduating people from seminaries as pastors, leaders, and they're literally, like I said, my first 5 or 10 years, my heart was to reach lost people and to see people grow in their faith. I mean, that really was my heart. But there was this underlining drive that said, in order for you to be successful, this church needs to become better than the church down the street. You have to have people here. You have to have revenue coming in. And so all of a sudden you become like you're supposed to be the CEO of a company.
You're president of a company.
Yeah, and after about 5 or 10 years of that, I realized, first of all, it's not my real heart. It's not really what God's called me to do. And secondly, people, at least in this area, people have been there, done that, and they don't want people like that. They don't want someone trying to grow a church. Mm-hmm. And the people that do are the people that are still stuck in the books and on TV wanting to be a part of a megachurch somewhere because they haven't moved past that.
If no one's coming to church, who's growing?
Hey, Brian, if you've got
I hear you. You mean if the church isn't growing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So that's frustrating for me sometimes because we have 111 on Easter and then we have 54 last Sunday. So that tells me, like, are we really growing the church?
Was pancakes.
Well, that's true.
Free pancakes.
Free pancakes.
Free pancakes.
Brian, if you get a good board of elders around you, you don't have to do so much of the CEO work.
Yeah, but you can't. Are we allowed to pay them? Because you have to pay them full time. Because nobody
If
has
they're
time.
going to be full time, you're allowed to.
Oh, okay. Because nobody has time to put up with all that stuff and struggle through that. I mean, you can barely get volunteer help to greet at the door anymore. There used to be a time where people actually thought, well, volunteering my time was actually worth something. And it's hard to find people to actually volunteer time.
I just got an award from the Army for volunteering while I was here in recruiting duty.
Gosh.
And self-promotion.
Oh
Well, that's good. What were you volunteering doing there, Ralph?
I was the veterans chair for a fraternity to help homeless vets in the area.
Satanism.
A club.
Fraternity.
Let me tell you about fraternal orders. None of them are good. You guys got some kind of acceptance ritual? Did you participate in some kind of initiation ceremony?
I didn't actually.
All right, well, that's good.
Well, you will.
It's covered.
They're called the Elks. They're like patriotic. A lot of them are ex-military.
That's the worst one ever. They have pointy horns.
Well, listen, those people are valuable, but the Elk Club, I saw that on Happy Days. It's not a good thing.
No.
I think it was the Elk Club, wasn't it, on
Or the
Happy
Moose
Days?
Lodge.
Moose Lodge, that was it.
The other deer family member.
Yeah, right. Large deer, actually. The moose.
The moose, yeah, it says of a horse.
Quite large, yeah. Really mess your vehicle up, even if you're driving a GMC Acadia. But I'm not saying anything.
Oh, smush it.
Yeah. Well, we've tore up some time here. Do we have any comments or anything going on?
No.
Ralph, do you sleep with your watch on?
Yes.
Why?
Why wouldn't I?
I don't know.
You tell time in the middle of the night. You need to wake up and see what time it is.
So I get that when my phone dings at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Why do you need a watch when you have a phone? I never understood.
I like
that.
watches.
Yeah.
I don't
used
like to pull my phone out of my pocket. I can just look at my wrist.
Are you wearing pants in bed? Your phone's in your
I
pocket?
am. You want to see them?
No, in bed.
We sold the camper. I don't have an office anymore.
Oh, you sold your camper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get what you wanted?
It was a couple grand
more?
less than I'd like to have gotten, but
But it was what you needed?
whatever. We got more than we owed on it, so that's good.
Is this because you're going to Yemeni?
Yeah, we can't take the camper to Germany.
I fly it to Yemeni.
I sold the motorcycle too.
Shut up.
I didn't even know you had a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, my wife asked me to sell it, and because I'm a good Christian man, I do what my wife tells me.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. That was probably the worst decision of your whole
What
life.
motorcycle did you have?
I had a 2021 Honda CBR 600 RR.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not that great.
I had a girl's bike once.
Yeah,
They're fun. They're fun.
they're fun. I was going pretty fast.
Well, she probably did that for a good reason. She didn't want you to die, number one. Number two, that money then
She
can
gets
go.
$400,000 if I die. I'm sure she'd be all right.
Okay, so she doesn't. So it's not about your death. It's probably about the fact that selling that.
She'd be like, Ralph, don't sell the motorcycle.
Yeah,
In fact, don't you want to go ride it on the highway?
yeah.
Trade it in and get a 1,000.
Yeah, why didn't you get the YZF 1000?
First off, Yamahas are garbage.
Well,
Secondly,
they pull my fat bottom right
it was
off the
my
ground.
first sport bike because I've always done cruisers before, so I didn't know if I should have. But if I do get another bike, it's going to be the BMW 1000 RR.
Oh, that's nice.
Do you know how much those are now? $28,000.
That's
Yeah,
not,
but they got heated hand grips.
But they have heated hand grips, he
I
says.
know, they're really cool.
and that's not a problem for somebody on military salary.
I'm not buying that one new if I do get it. I'm going to get it used.
All right.
They're sweet. I'd buy one.
Yeah, BMWs are nice.
Yeah. The
Nice
Aprillas are cool too. Have you checked those out? Augusta Aprilla or something.
Ralph,
I don't know that one.
he doesn't know that one.
Check out the Aprillas.
Okay.
Yeah, those are Aprillas. All right. Well, I think we have demonized the church enough today.
From our opening song till here.
Till here. Mm-hmm. I think we've done that. Anything else you guys want to throw out for discussion? We got like a few minutes left.
Why don't we talk about Twitter?
Okay.
Tweet
Elon
or-
Musk. Elon Musk is a white male chauvinist who hates.
On the spectrum.
Yeah, who hates everybody unless you agree with him. Is that a true statement?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm just saying
I'm
what
not,
all
I'm
the
not one of those
other
people that
liberal
think-
stations are saying about Elon Musk now that he bought Twitter. Now all of a sudden he's a white male hater.
He's going to let people say whatever they want on there. He's crazy.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of that.
You're not gonna be able to say whatever you want on there.
How can you hear that? You don't watch the news.
Because I'm on Twitter. No.
That is funny.
I do catch things, and then so I actually first heard about it, I think on a Joe Rogan podcast when he bought like the 9%, and then we talked about it last week about him possibly buying the rest of it or trying to, or Brian mentioned it, and then when I was looking at the sports, I do look at sports news. There was a little pop up that he actually did buy it, so so I did a little reading because it was interesting to me. And, like, I'm not one of those people that thinks Elon Musk is, like, the savior of the world. But any guy who can do a space program in his spare time, like as a side gig, has got some value to add to the world, you know?
He's got a board of directors to do all that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one that started it, just like he started Tesla, just like he started SpaceX for the whatever the internet one is. Like, he's got a lot of people working for him, but he still started all that stuff. And now he's like, starting to try to make a social media that is open to everyone and not like banning anyone. I don't think he's a Republican or a Trump supporter, but he obviously believes that Trump should be able to be on Twitter saying whatever he wants to, just like anyone else. So I think as more and more restrictions come on us so we can't speak freely, that supporting those kinds of things are good.
You don't think they're going to put the squeeze on him and pinch him so that he finally gives in? Like, can't the government come in and somehow squeeze him and take his money so that he can't do what he wants to do with freedom of speech?
I mean, they could,
Okay,
but
so what's happening already is yesterday Tech took a bath
Okay.
in the market. And so I don't know how many, like, when his companies take a bath, like over so many points, it's billions of dollars lost. Mm-hmm. So now they're saying he couldn't afford. Not he may, like, they have to look at how bad he got hit yesterday. He may not be able to afford it.
How could he not?
I doubt it.
He's worth 400 and some billion, right?
Yeah, but I mean that also is already leveraged. It's just like I have credit at my home, so I already have so much credit, And then I'm trying to think of a good example. I can't think of a good example off the top of my head for me
I
privately.
kind of know what you're saying, though.
But like he already has so much leveraged,
Yeah.
and you have a net worth of whatever that is,
Right.
and then you want to turn around and buy something for $400 billion. That means that you've got to come up with 400 billion to back it up with. But if it's already leveraged on spacecraft and
Yeah.
this, that, and the other, they're saying that like if he lost enough yesterday, or if he loses enough in the upcoming days as our economy starts to dwindle, he may have a hard time affording it. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But you're already hearing that.
Right.
My guess probably
Yep.
not.
He already purchased it though. It's a done deal.
Yeah, he's okay.
So then they'll have to tweet less.
Yeah, but it takes me, okay, Ralph. It takes me 30 days to buy a house, 60 days to buy a house. You don't just go to Twitter, McDonald's, and hand over $40 billion, and then Twitter's yours. I have a feeling there's paperwork, assets. Like there's got to be, like, he hasn't signed for it. They just announced it last week.
No. So when he bought it, so think about, do you do stocks at all, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you do a stock, that's all it is. He just acquired enough stock to take it on. When you buy a stock, you can buy it like in a second. Like I can go on my Charles Schwab account right now and be like, Twitter, I can't buy as much as him, but I can be like, Twitter, 20 shares.
Yeah, but you also
done
have
deal.
when you're doing that kind of stuff though, you still have to wrestle with the SEC and like there's red tape in the way. I guarantee it. Like
Plus, when you buy that stock, you got to have cash on hand to do it. Like Matt was saying earlier, like you got to have say $400 in your account in order to buy those 20 shares.
I don't think it's I don't think that this is an overnight deal. I think this is an offer accepted, and then there's a process with government agencies watching over. That's my belief. I don't know for certain. I don't think you go, I'm buying Twitter today, and so then Twitter's mine. I just can't see that being a thing.
Well, I'm not saying I understand everything correctly either, but I think on Friday last week is when he actually acquired the stock. I'm not saying there's not stuff like you're saying, like paperwork, like he's not in control of the company yet, even though he owns the stock. Like I'm sure that kind of paperwork takes a while.
Sure. Well, although at the same time, to back up your point, I know that people are already saying like comments are getting through. Like I think one of the ones somebody was posting was James Woods was like, "Oh, that's weird. Elon Musk buys Twitter, and now I'm getting 50,000 comments a day, or whatever." And then he said, "Imagine if that were allowed to happen during the election, what that would have done."
Yeah.
So, people are already noticing that their accounts are revived and bounced back.
Yeah.
So he obviously got some kind of control over what's going on. So I'm talking out on both sides of my mouth. I don't know what I'm saying. I guess I don't know. I get maybe you can just buy Twitter, and you own it.
Yeah. Or
All I know is some of the stuff he's talking about doing on Twitter. That actually is why I got back on it, because I would gladly get off Facebook and all that metaverse stuff if Twitter can be a replacement. Because he's talking about making DMs actually encrypted on both ends, like Signal. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard of Signal, but that way people literally can't hack your messages to see what you write.
Right.
And unlike WhatsApp, which had all that stuff released a few years ago, which is part of Facebook.
Yeah.
So you could have actually secure DMs. Not that we need to hide anything, but we don't need people reading our stuff for no reason either, I don't know. He's talking about doing some good things, so.
Good. I think I'm going to get on Twitter now and start doing some stuff.
You start tweeting.
Friend me.
All right, I will. I'm going to tweet some things. Tweet.
So somewhere back when we were talking about churches, David Miller commented and said maybe the problem is that we have defined church as a 1-hour Sunday morning event.
I would agree. We talked about that for years here. We try not to put our eggs all in one basket, and yet it seems like because that's where everybody seems to be, at least the most people seem to be, we have to put our eggs in that basket because that's what we do.
Well, the church is defined by the people that make it, and the people that make it want coffee, programs, parking lot,
For an
nice
hour.
bathrooms. Yeah,
On Sunday.
yeah. They
Yeah.
want to say that's where they go for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we are starting to see some things change, at least as a church here, where people are wanting to get together outside of church, wanting to study the Word outside of church, which is a healthy thing. So we are
I can't believe you guys do it that long. That's a long time.
an hour.
Yeah. Like a week? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, well, Ralph? You usually just log on after the worship, right, and just watch the message, or what?
Sometimes I sit through that worship. That is really hard, though.
It can be. Sometimes it's not great.
Yeah.
Well, I got a jet.
Okay.
You guys see y'all later.
See ya. Brian's headed. He joined the fire department.
I did.
And he's headed to put out a chimney fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
This one's on.
Yeah. No, it's not on.
$100. It's an Amish fire.
Oh, yeah. It does seem like you're leaving hasty in an emergency.
It is a little bit. I agree.
This pager went off.
What are we supposed to do now?
It is 8 o'clock. We can call it quits.
8 o'clock. We haven't even started yet.
Brandon could explain to you how when you use 5/8, what's that stuff called? Drywall.
Drywall.
What you have to do with your electrical boxes.
Oh, did you have to move them all out?
Yeah.
Put extension rings?
No, I bought half-inch electrical boxes, like with the little
Right.
tit on there.
Yes,
And I set them all at half-inch.
that's right. So now they're all recessed.
Correct.
Yes.
So I had to move everyone.
You can buy just extension rings.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What can you buy, Matt?
Extend-
Remember I told you, Brandon, we should look it up? What could you buy?
Extension rings.
What are they?
They're like a slip over thing that extend the box to the outside of the.
Yeah.
I told you there had to be something out there.
Well, I have to.
Because like like in California, where they just drywall over old drywall, and call it new.
Yeah.
They have to.
That's good.
They have to use extension rings.
All right, boys.
See ya.
But yeah, I did 5/8 everything.
Really?
Heavy duty.
No, that's cool. Can you punch the wall harder?
You can.
You can-
Probably break your hand.
I'll bet.
And it's all fire rated.
Nice. Boom.
Yeah.
Does that help your insurance?
I don't know.
You have to see.
You have to stop out and see what I did. It's pretty cool.
Drive by your house. I love your siding.
Yeah, it turned out
It's
good.
beautiful. Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it turned out really good.
What say you, Ralph?
I say we call it.
All right. Well, it's been another fun week.
Is it always? Yes.
As always.
Is it always?
No, of
Yes.
course it is. Yes. All right. Well,
Oh, my shower? Yeah.
I thought he had an emergency.
He's obsessed with my shower.
So what are you doing with your shower?
I did a big, it's like 5 foot by 5 foot walk-in.
Nice.
Super tall all the way to the ceiling.
Yes. Do you have the rain?
I will. I'll have a rain head,
Yeah.
regular head, body sprays.
Yeah. Nice.
The whole nine.
Nice.
Yeah. It's going to be,
It's like a car wash, but for people.
yeah, you could probably fit 7 people in there,
That's
dude.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's really cool.
Why do you want 7 people in the shower with you, Brandon?
Well, it'll probably just be me and Sarah and the dogs.
That's fair. Dogs
right.
can take up a lot of room.
Yeah, well, they're 170 pounds apiece, so.
Well, thank you for answering the question.
No problem.
All right. Well, and on that note, I'm going to hit our sweeper, and we are out of here. Have a good week, everybody.
Have a good weekend.
Go ahead.
Later.
You finish out your thought.
Well, we got an error report.